take a break from your toilet breaks, because today we're diving deep into the bizarre world of Skibidi Toilet, and what I found might just flush your understanding of reality right down the drain. And you see, we've all been watching these epic battles between G-Toilet's army and the Titans, thinking it's just another good versus evil story. But what if I told you that these aren't just fights we're watching? What if these scenes are actually showing us something much more terrifying, the literal corruption and destruction of reality itself? Now, before you think I've gone totally crazy, let me break down what we're seeing in this latest battle. And trust me, once you see what I see, you won't be able to unsee it. Let's start with our first big clue, those G-clones. In this battle, we watch as they keep showing up to fight the Titans. But have you noticed something weird about how they fight? Every single G-clone shoots the exact same laser beams. They all have the exact same powers. They all move the exact same way. Now you might be thinking, but MatPat, they're clones. Of course they're the same, but here's where things get spooky. When Titan Drillman blasts one with plasma, the G-clone doesn't just fight back, it responds with the exact same attack pattern we see from every other G-clone. Yeah, it's like they're not just copies, they're perfect copies. Too perfect. And that's not all. Watch what happens when the Sonar Titan clone tries to saw through one G-clone's neck. Another G-clone immediately shows up with the exact same plasma blast we saw before. It's like they're not even individuals, they're all one single entity just spreading. But the really freaky part, when these G-clones get hit, they barely take any damage at all. The Titan Drillman clone literally drills into one's eye, and it just shrugs it off. These aren't normal clones, folks. There's something else entirely. Let's look at our Titan friends for comparison. Even their clones show individual behavior. The Titan Clockman clone uses green projectiles, while the Speakerman clones prefer direct attacks. The Drillman clones use different strategies, some use chains, others use plasma beams. Well, they're clones, but they still act like separate beings. But here's where my theory starts to come together. Watch closely when the G-clones attack. They don't just fight the Titans, they systematically take over the space around them. Every time they appear, it's like that part of the battlefield becomes strong, different, corrupted. And the most chilling evidence? When Titan Drillman and his 2.0 clone blast 3 G-clones with their strongest plasma beams, nothing happens. The G-clones just keep coming, keep spreading, keep taking over more space. It's almost like they can't be destroyed because they're not really there, they're overriding the very reality they're fighting in. But what does this mean for our heroes? Well, loyal theorists, that's where things get really interesting. But before we get into that, we need to look at some more evidence. Because trust me, what happens next in this fight might just prove that the entire multiverse is in more danger than anyone realized. Look at how the Titans are fighting. They're not just trying to defeat these G-clones, they're trying to contain them. Every attack, every strategy seems focused on stopping the G-clones from spreading further. It's almost like they know something we don't. Something about what these G-clones really are. And speaking of spreading, let's talk about those laser beams the G-clones keep using. Notice how they don't just damage their targets, they seem to change the very space they hit. When Titan Drillman takes that direct hit and falls, it's not just that he's defeated. It's like that part of the battlefield becomes different, changed, like reality itself is being rewritten. But we're just scratching the surface here, because to really understand what's happening in this battle, we need to look at some mind-bending science that might just explain why G-Toilet's army is so much more terrifying than we thought. Look at what happens when the Titan Speakerman 2.0 clone jumps in to fight. His plasma cannons, both of them get destroyed by a single G-clone. But it's not just that they're destroyed, they get completely wiped out like they never existed in the first place. And this keeps happening. The Titan Cameraman 2.0 clone loses his arm the exact same way. It's not battle damage, folks, it's parts of reality getting erased. And here's the really scary part. When multiple G-clones gang up on a target, they're not just attacking, they're corrupting more space at once. It's like they're working together to overwrite bigger chunks of reality. Even when our heroes seem to win, like when Titan Speakerman 2.0 clone pushes back one of the G-clones, what happens? Boom, an explosion. But what if it's not just an explosion? What if it's reality itself fighting back against being changed? Hey, but wait, it gets even better. Or should I say worse? Watch what happens to the Titan TV Man clone. The G-clone doesn't just beat him, it destroys his head completely. Now, in any other show, this would just be a cool fight scene. But notice something weird? The head rolls right to the real Titan TV Man. It's like reality itself is trying to show him what's coming. And then we get to the really juicy part. The real Titan TV Man jumps into action, and this is where everything clicks into place. When he stabs a G-clone with his claws, it actually dies. This is huge. Why? Because it proves these aren't just regular clones, they're something else entirely. Regular clones would all die the same way, but only the original Titans can actually destroy these things. It's like only real beings can fight back against these reality-corrupting copies. But here's the biggest piece of evidence yet. When Titan TV Man calls out G-Toilet, saying too scared to come out, no balls, what appears? A small cloud of black smoke. Now you might think this is just G-Toilet being sneaky. But what if it's something much worse? What if this is what reality corruption actually looks like, reality itself breaking down into nothing? And just when things couldn't get more intense, we see those two pencil helicopters show up. Inside one of them are Plungerman, Dark Speakerman, Camera Woman, Speaker Woman, and TV Woman, all with new upgrades. But why do they need upgrades? Because they're not just fighting an enemy army, they're fighting against the corruption of reality itself. Think about it, everything we've seen points to one terrifying truth. G-Toilet isn't just making clones, he's not just trying to take over, he's literally corrupting and rewriting reality itself. Each G-clone is a piece of corrupted spacetime. Every laser blast rewrites another chunk of existence. The black smoke isn't just for show, it's reality breaking down. This explains everything. Why the G-clones are perfect copies, they're all the same piece of corrupted reality spreading. Why they barely take damage, you can't hurt something that's overwriting reality itself. Why only original Titans can actually kill them, because they're part of the original uncorrupted reality. And those new upgrades our heroes are getting, they're not just power-ups, they're reality anchors, ways to fight back against the corruption. The entire multiverse war isn't about beating an enemy army. It's about preventing reality itself from being completely overwritten by G-Toilet's corruption. Yeah, and speaking of theories that'll blow your mind, you see that video right there on your screen. YouTube thinks you'll love it, and you know what? The algorithm is usually right about these things. Click it right now while you're in theory mode. Trust me, your brain will thank you for it. And I'll see all you awesome theorists in the next video.